Wait, literally, I'm just gonna watch this like 13-minute long video to understand what the hell I'm doing wrong on DPS, specifically on Psylocke.
So I reached eternity with a peak rank of 747 on the leaderboards and became the 18th best Psylocke in the world on PC.
What?
With multiple accounts in Celestial, and I hit top 500 seasons 1 through 6 in Overwatch 1.
Bro,
By the
this
end
is
of this video,
insane.
I can guarantee that you'll beat EOMM with Psylocke as long as you retain the information I'm about to teach you. This information will make you not only a better Psylocke, but will also teach you to become a more consistent carry in the DPS role.
Okay, that's what I need. I can't play DPS to save my life. Unless I'm playing quick play and I'm playing Moon Knight.
More of an advanced guide, so I'm going to skip over her
No. I actually did pretty good with Bucky the other day. Surprisingly. Because I have shit aim.
abilities and kit, and instead I'm going to teach you how to utilize the kit to its maximum potential. This is going to be the stuff that separates
Why do you think I
good
played Moon
Psylocke
Knight?
from a Psylocke who's actually going to take over the
No brain, no aim, I'm a Moon Knight main, bro.
lobby and control the pace of the game. So before we dive in, let me lay out the key topics we're going to cover. These include why you keep running out of cooldowns and how you can fix it, the reality of flanking on Psylocke, how to avoid the enemy team dogpiling you, and which enemies you should target and bully in order for your team to be successful. So let's start with the most common reason Psylocke players throw their games without even realizing it: cooldown management. If
Okay,
your
that makes
dash
sense.
or your invisibility is down, you're not Psylocke anymore. You're just a squishy purple girl who has a giant sign over her head saying, "Come kill me, I have no cooldowns." The truth is, most players burn their cooldowns because they panic, not because they have a plan. They'll see a Hulk jump into the team fight, they'll see some spam damage coming their way, and then instantly they'll dash, boom, gone. And now, when the real threat shows up, you've got nothing. So, what's the fix? You need to play every cooldown with intent. You don't just dash to dodge
Oh, that
poke,
was
you
good.
dash to break-
Wait. I never even thought about that. Dashing up to avoid getting killed and then using your ult where you can't die? Or where it's less likely that you're gonna die? To kill the enemy team and make your life last longer.
break line of sight, and you need to reposition into an angle
That's
where you can
pretty
immediately
genius,
shoot back
actually.
and recontest someone. You don't just go invisible just to feel safe. You go invisible because you're about to set up a flank, or you're about to escape after a pick, or you're about to force an ult out of the enemy. You need to be intentional and deliberate with the way that you use your cooldowns. If you keep that in mind, you're going to notice two things. One, you survive longer. And two, you're suddenly there in every fight with more resources. You're going to have an extra dash, or you're going to have an extra invis, and that's going to be the difference between you winning that really close 1v1 versus you dying and going back to
You need
respawn.
to reposition.
Additionally, you can get more cooldowns by using what I call the ABS technique, or the ABS technique.
The
This
abs
stands
technique.
for always be shooting or always be staging. There's a concept in MMOs like Final Fantasy XIV and World of Warcraft, which is known as the ABCs, which is always be casting. In that game, you have to constantly cast spells. It's better to cast any random spell than it is to wait for the perfect spell. So instead, we're going to bring this over to Marvel Rivals with Psylocke. It's always going to be better to shoot something than to sneak around waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike, because your character is not Black Panther. You don't play the same sneaky assassin style. Yes, she's a ninja. Yes, she has
Bro,
invisibility.
what was that Moon Knight doing, bro? He should have just jumped up to avoid it or used his grapple. Why did he just stand there in her ult? I get he ran into the wall. He
You
did
don't
run into
play
the wall.
same sneaky assassin style.
But why did he just stand there afterwards?
Yes, she's a ninja. Yes, she has invisibility, but she should always be shooting or staging. If you don't know what staging is, it's essentially improving your position or your high ground or your angle that you're attacking from, so that way you get a better position for yourself and a disadvantageous position for the enemy. It's intentional positioning that will set you up for success while keeping constant pressure on the enemy. This is especially important on a character like Psylocke, because as long as you were shooting, you were also getting your cooldowns back because of her passive. This is why it's important to always be
And
shooting.
not only the cooldowns. Every time you hit a shot or an attack on the enemy, you're getting a percentage of your ult filled, so you can use your ultimate ability.
ABS. Additionally, since Psylocke has one of the shortest ult cooldowns in the game, always
Yeah.
shooting is going to make it so that way your ultimate comes back way.
Bruh. We're on the same wavelength, me and this guy.
faster. This is going to let you throw out more ultimates throughout the course of a game and have a higher impact on the lobby. So this is why at the core of every good Psylocke's gameplay is the concept of always shooting and always cycling your cooldowns. ABS, always be shooting. Now, of course, there's going to be times where...
Wait. He was about to use his terrain to climb up there. I saw the vision, bro. I saw it. He was going to use the terrain. He was going to destroy part of it and make like a little staircase that he could jump up to go kill them. That's almost as creative as when I saw Bucky shoot a piece of the wall so he could hide in it while the rest of his team was dead, so he didn't die. These top players are so creative.
Cycling your cooldowns, ABS.
Because I would never think of something like this.
Be shooting. Now, of course, there's gonna be time.
Thank God that I watch these types of videos, or I watch just top 500 players play the game, and then they give me ideas on things that I could do in the game. I just have to remember to do them when I'm actually in danger.
Times where you're not shooting, but the idea is to keep as much uptime and constant pressure as you can. There will be times when you do have to escape, or there will be times when you do have to go for a certain flank and you have to be sneaky. Point is to keep that non-stop cooldown rotation constantly going by peppering the enemy throughout the entire course of the game. This leads me into my second point, the reality of flanking on Psylocke. Unfortunately, when you're flanking, you're trying your best to be sneaky at first, which is going to actively delay your ability to always be shooting. It's also going to delay your ability to get new cooldowns, and it's going to delay your ability to generate ult charge. But you do get the surprise factor on a squishy character, say like their Luna or their Hela. The majority of the time, you do want to be providing your team more pressure elsewhere, whether that's contesting a fire or even the frontline tanks. Flanking specifically, however...
The only problem is the rank that I'm in, a lot of healers don't even heal the DPS. They'll just heal the tanks. And they'll heal each other. The DPS are kind of on their own for the most part, unless they're like in the fight.
Puts you in a risky situation where it is high risk, high reward, when you can do something that's more middle risk, middle reward. If you don't get the assassination while you're flanking, you are now deep behind the enemy lines and you're more likely to die if you get contested or caught out. Because Psylocke is so good at also pressuring the front line, if you die in the back line, you are an active detriment to your team now, because now your front line is going to get run over.
Yeah.
The beauty of Psylocke is that she can do it all, and you have to learn how to balance both the flanking aspect and the pressuring the front lines aspect. If you only focus on going for assassinations in the backline and flanking, you are actively trolling your team and you won't climb. There are certain times though that I would recommend flanking. It's going to be things like spawn camping a healer who's coming back to the fight and they're not getting escorted by a teammate and they're all by themselves. Or, number two, there's a Hela or there's a Hawkeye or Squirrel or Moonlight.
Yeah, and the best Spider-Man, the best Black Panther, the best Psylocke, the best Magic players, they all do that. They go after the healer that's usually me, running back by themselves.
Actually, someone who's just spamming in the background who is going uncontested. Maybe your BP can't reach them. Maybe your Iron Fist can't reach them. It's your job as Psylocke to go take down that turret.
Oh yeah, there's so many dive characters now that I think about it. There's the ones that I just named. There's Captain America, there's Iron Fist, there's Wolverine. There's so many characters that can just go after a single target and kill them over and over and over and over again.
Set up, or that sniper all the way in the back that's shooting down at your team. Now, I know that sounds obvious, but there are a lot of players who will get caught up in fighting whatever is in front of them rather than what needs to be fought. So that's the second time that I would flank. The third time is if I have ult and I'm looking for a good engage angle. One of the bad things about Psylocke players that I see is they will dash in front of everyone and then ult, which gives enemies a chance to react. This gives enemies the chance to drop a bubble.
The thing about this game Also, especially the DPS characters like Psylocke, you just have to have good aim as well, and I do not have good aim. That's why do you think I play Cloak and Dagger, bro? Why do you think I play Moon Knight, where I can throw a thing down in a group of people and just aim at that without moving, instead of aiming at each specific character?
Or
Yo, what's up,
Pop the
Vamp?
Greens or Soul Bond or whatever. If you can get a good flank angle before engaging, that's going to set your ultimate up for a little bit better chance to convert into actual kills. So tip number 3 is how to avoid getting dogpiled by the enemy team.
Damn, if his team was there, that would have went so much better. Dropped a couple singles and I have the day off. So good. Awesome, bro. That's great.
Is that you're not taking the correct angle and you're too early on your engagement. So
I'm
my
glad you get a
remedy
day
is
off
pretty
as
simple.
well.
You need to delay your engagement by 1 to 2 seconds. This is going to let your front line take aggro from the enemy tanks and the enemy DPS first, while you get to sit kind of right next to them, shooting them for free.
Bro,
Obviously, they will contest you eventually, but the idea is that
they're gonna spawn camp in this little hole in the wall?
you are not the first person to take the
Oh,
first
wait, never mind. They should have. That was a good place to hide.
shot. In my opinion, the easiest way to execute this is by communicating to your team that you're about to go in, and then holding at a certain angle. If you hold high ground,
You wanna see what I've been cooking? Chat says I've improved a lot. Yeah, after this video's over.
and you
I'll check
hold
it
right
out.
behind a pillar or behind a wall, when your team is ready to go in, you are also ready to go in right after. Psylocke has this butterfly motif everywhere, but you're really playing like a vulture. Okay,
True.
your core gameplay should be about constant opportunistic pressure. You're shooting from off angles and strong positions, and you're waiting for the perfect moment to go in, and you're cleaning up and swooping in after kind of the fight has already started to unfold. This is going to turn your positioning and your patience into more consistent eliminations and carry potential. So the tip, again, is to not be first. You need to wait a little bit so that way your team starts to fight. But before that, go ahead and keep continuing to always be shooting, right? Just continue that little pepper damage. Yes, it's not a lot, but you want to keep shooting. You just don't want to be in first. Okay.
Yeah,
And last step
that makes
is going to
sense.
be which enemies you need to target and bully for your team to have the most success.
Healers.
Psylocke's job is to take out the biggest threat, or who is likely going to cause your team the most trouble, because she has such positive matchups into almost everything. Pretty much outside of like Bucky and Loki, she's pretty good against everyone. Now, it's sometimes a skill matchup, yes, but your job is to be able to identify which target is causing you the most trouble and taking that target out, compared to just going for backline or just going for frontline. Because you can do both front and backline, it's your job to essentially isolate the one character that's going to give you the most success. So let me
Use your
give you an
dash.
example.
we
Let's say
go.
that there's an Iron Man on the enemy
Oh, that
team,
didn't work.
and you are about to make this final push with your Cloak and Dagger, okay? She has ult, but the issue you know is that the Iron Man is going to ult your Cloak and Dagger. It's
Yeah.
your job to
Take
fully
out-
utilize your kit.
Yes, take out the Iron Man before it can ult your teammate. That makes sense.
To abuse this Iron Man, right? Even if you're just peppering him for 10 damage per shot,
Because your teammate has a push ult. So if they have a push ult, you want to take out the character that can counter your teammate's push ult.
or if you're getting up in his face and trying to go for an assassination while dashing up in the air, or even if you're just trying to solo ult him, it's your job to get rid of this Iron Man so that way your Cloak and Dagger can have a safe ultimate. It's unfortunate, but it's the reality of the way you have to play Psylocke. You have to take sometimes the hardest fights in the game, because other characters can't do it as easily as you can. So it's your job to take out these characters that are causing so much, essentially, imbalance on your team. If there's a Punisher that's contesting your flyers, you need to get rid of the Punisher. If there's a Squirrel Girl who's abusing your front line, you need to go get rid of that Squirrel Girl. It's your job to go and hunt her down so that your tanks get to play with less pressure on their health. Let's say they have a torch. This torch is just non-stop spamming your whole team with damage. You have to shoot him out of the air.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you got that Luna kill if this torch essentially is gaining ult charge and he's
If the torch is
abusing
torching your
whole
team, then
and making it difficult for them to push. All right,
Luna doesn't
and now
matter as
we've learned the
much.
core of what it really means to carry on Psylocke. So let's recap what you just learned. First, we learned about cooldowns. We learned how to use them with intent, how to dash and use invisibility, not just as escapes, but as tools to reposition and engage in force ultimates. Additionally, we supplement the cooldown management with the ABS technique of always shooting or staging to keep constant pressure on the enemy while also cycling your cooldowns and improving your position. Number 2, we talked about the reality of flanking. It's only good to flank if there's a purpose for the flank. You shouldn't actively be looking for it just to flank. Don't waste time deep behind enemy lines unless the opportunity is high reward, low risk. Number 3, you're going to avoid the enemy team dogpiling on you by playing like a vulture. You're going to wait for the front line to draw aggro first, you're going to maintain your advantageous angle, and then you're going to swoop in for the cleanup when the time is right. And lastly, your target prioritization and who to focus. You're going to focus on creating pressure and imbalance between your team and the enemy team by identifying the enemy who's the biggest threat or creating the most problems for your team comp.
Yeah.
We learned that sometimes actually the biggest threat is that Bucky or that Iron Man who has ult that's creating problems for your team and preventing them from doing the strategy that they want to do.
I feel like this is like all obvious, but I just don't think about it because I'm not good at playing DPS. First of all, I don't have good aim. Second of all, I'm not good at playing with intentionality, if that makes any sense.
And it's your job to take out these high priority targets.
Like, I understand exactly what I'm doing on healer and how I need to do it and how I need to increase the damage for the enemy. Like, increase the damage that my team does to the enemy. So I use the cloak to increase the damage that my team will do on their team whenever I can. But my main focus is to heal. And if I get kills, yeah, then that's great, because that will just only further help the team. I understand that. But when it comes to DPS, I generally think it's just as easy as get kills and do damage. But that's, like, there's more to it, is what it seems like. Just like how tanks are to create space, but also to get kills. It's all, each role has its thing that, various things that you need to prioritize over getting kills. I play Spider-Man only. Damn, bro, have you only ever played Spider-Man, or you only play Spider-Man in general? Or have you played other characters before?
Very difficult fights that your team can't do. And that's it. Follow these strategies and you'll survive longer, you'll generate more ults, you'll take better fights, and you'll consistently carry your team. Go out there and apply these tactics, and you'll be able to perform more consistently and have those pop-off games that you're looking for. For more high-level Psylocke content, you can find me at twitch.tv/RhinoPhi or Twitter @RhinoPhi. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so that way you can keep up with more tips, updates, and gameplay breakdowns.
I played some other characters like 3 to 4 hours worth, but mostly Spider-Man. Wait, you've only ever played 3 to 4 hours of other characters? Or 3 to 4 hours on each character? Bro, go subscribe to this guy. This guy's got only like 200 subs. Probably more. I've been recently trying to branch out of healer role because I feel like I need to become more of a flexible player. But anyways, chat, that was a good ass fucking video. Go subscribe to this guy. They also said that they stream on Twitch as well. I might look into following them. But I'm kind of busy right now. But like and subscribe. I'll see y'all later. Peace.